You open your laptop, you know what needs to get done, and then nothing. You check your phone, you make another coffee, you reorganize something that didn't need reorganizing. An hour passes, maybe two, and by the end of the day, the thing you were supposed to do is still sitting there, and now there's something else in the room with it. A quiet, heavy feeling, like you let yourself down again. Most people call that laziness. They punish themselves for it. They make another plan, they set another alarm, they promise this time will be different. But laziness isn't actually what's happening here. Something else is. And once you see it, everything starts to make more sense. Here's the thing about laziness. It's not a personality trait. It's not who you are. It's a response. When you avoid something, your brain isn't being weak. It's doing its job. It's protecting you from something it has decided feels dangerous. Not physically dangerous, but emotionally dangerous. The project you keep putting off, your brain has attached something to it. Maybe failure, maybe judgment, maybe the fear that you'll try your hardest and it still won't be good enough. So the safest option, the one your nervous system keeps choosing, is to just not start. That's not laziness. That's avoidance. And avoidance is always about protection. The question isn't, why am I so lazy? The real question is, what am I protecting myself from? Sit with that for a second, because the answer to that question is where everything actually starts. For most people, what they're avoiding isn't the task. It's the feeling that comes with the task. It might be the discomfort of not knowing how to start, the vulnerability of putting something out and having it judged, the fear of discovering that even with effort, it might not work. Or sometimes, and this one is quieter, it's the fear of actually succeeding, because success means more is expected, and more feels overwhelming. So instead of sitting with that discomfort, you do something easier, something your brain already knows how to handle. You scroll, you watch, you do smaller, safer tasks and call it productivity, and your nervous system rewards you with a brief sense of relief. That relief is the trap, because every time you choose relief over the hard thing, you teach your brain one more time, this task is a threat, avoid it. And the avoidance gets stronger, and the task gets heavier, and the gap between you and the thing you need to do gets wider. This is the cycle, not laziness, a loop of protection and relief that's slowly running your life. So how do you actually get out of it? Not with more discipline, not with another productivity system, not with a motivational video. Those things don't work because they're aimed at the wrong problem. You don't have a motivation problem. You have a threat perception problem. The goal isn't to force yourself through the discomfort. The goal is to make the task feel less dangerous to begin. Here's something small but real. The avoidance loop starts before you even sit down. It starts in your head when you think about the task as one big undefined thing. I need to work on the project. That sentence alone is vague enough to feel overwhelming. Your brain doesn't know where to start, so it doesn't. Try this instead. Make the task so small that it stops feeling like a threat. Not work on the project. Just open the document. That's it. One sentence. Write one sentence. Your brain can handle one sentence. It doesn't feel dangerous. There's nothing to fail at. And once you're in, even slightly, the threat response starts to quiet down. The task is no longer something lurking out there. It's something you're already doing. That's not a trick. That's how the nervous system actually works. You're not bypassing the resistance. You're just making the entry point small enough that the resistance doesn't activate. I want to be honest about something, because most content on this topic skips it. Breaking this loop is not fast. You will still avoid things. You will still have days where you open the document, stare at it for 4 minutes, and close it again. That's going to happen. What changes is what you do with the information. Before, you called it laziness. You made it about who you are, someone who can't follow through, someone who doesn't have what it takes. That story makes the avoidance worse, because now there's shame attached to it too. And shame is just more weight in an already heavy room. When you start to see it as avoidance, as protection, it stops being a character flaw and becomes something you can actually work with. I'm avoiding this because part of me is afraid of what happens if I try. That's not a sentence that tears you down. It's a sentence that gives you somewhere to go. You notice the avoidance. You get curious about it instead of ashamed. You ask, what is the smallest possible version of this task I can start right now? And then you do that one thing, not the whole thing, just the entry point. That's what this actually looks like in real life. Not dramatic, not a transformation, just you and a document and one sentence over and over until the pattern starts to shift. So the next time you feel yourself stalling, opening your phone instead, making the coffee, doing the thing that isn't the thing, don't call it laziness. Ask instead, what am I protecting myself from right now? You don't have to solve it. You just have to notice it, and then find the smallest possible entry point into the thing you've been avoiding. One line, 1 minute, one small small act of not running, that's enough to start. That's enough to change the signal your brain is getting. That's how the loop breaks. Not all at once, but one small moment at a time. You're not lazy. You never were. You were just protecting yourself from something that doesn't need protecting from anymore.